All right, guys, top of the morning, Kish, my world, coming to you live and direct from Pretoria in South Africa, from this very beautiful area, beautiful space. South Africa is amazing, I must say. Man, let me tell you, today's video we're just gonna talk about the things that really shocked me about South Africa. I've never been here before in my life. It's my first time to come to South Africa, and this country has shocked me in leaps and bounds. So many things that I didn't expect, so many things that I didn't foresee, and I'm just here for it, man. I'm here to share it with you. And actually, speaking of that, if you look at this place here, there is wait for this car to pass. There is a camera over there, so basically, and another one here, and everywhere where you go there's like cameras. Look at where I'm walking. The place is so nice and calm and clean and everything, you see. And that was my first shock, that South Africa is so safe. Because before I came here, people were always warning me. They were like, oh my gosh, South Africa, be careful, don't go there, it's so dangerous, it's so bad, it's so this and this and this and that. This is one of the safest places where I am right now. It is in Pretoria, North Pretoria. But I've also been to Johannesburg, and I've been walking in the streets, downtown CBD, which is considered the most dangerous place. You know, I've been to like Hillbrow, I've been to like the bus stations, and to be honest, I felt safe through and through. Of course, you have to be careful. Don't be an idiot. Just like anywhere in the world, you have to be careful about where you're walking, what you're exposing for people to see. But all in all, through and through, South Africa is safe, in my opinion. I know people probably have had some bad experiences this here and there, but I'm talking about me myself, Kish. I feel South Africa is a safe country. It's more safe than people actually perceive it to be. Of course, as I said, crime does happen just like anywhere else in the world, but I would 100% with no doubt say a country like USA is more dangerous than here where I are in South Africa. Okay, so that was my number one. That was one of the things that really shocked me. There's a plane flying, about how safe it is here in South Africa. And the people here also are just a vibe, man. The people are just incredible, you know. Very friendly people, very helpful, always, you know, helping you out, taking care of you. Like now, even I'm being hosted by somebody from here who's showing me around, driving me around, just taking good care of me. Man, I can't believe people are amazing also here. The next thing, which I didn't expect, I had an idea about it, but not until I came here that I actually got to see the entire thing, is how developed this country is. Guys, I'm telling you, this country is next level. You can even see for yourself the place I'm walking, the houses that are here, the greenery, the roads, the beauty, the nature. And this is just like the residential areas. If you go to the highways, the roads are amazing, the buildings, you know, infrastructure, everything is so nice, so good, so well taken care of. So I had a rough idea that it's a beautiful place, beautiful space, you know, but until I came here, that's when I was like, oh shit, man, this feels like a real first world country, you know. Very impressed by the area. The houses, man, the houses are just so beautiful, if you can see, you know. The third thing, speaking about houses, is how cheap they are. Houses like these ones here, you would be surprised if you learn the rent of how much they're paying. A house like this one here on my right, you could pay as little as 10,000 South African rand, 10 to 12 to 15, you know, with your own compound, very huge and everything. Let me try and do the conversion for about 12, I mean, it's about 600 or 500 US dollars a month. Very impressive. And that really shocked me. Also, if you want to stay in like apartments, is much cheaper. You could pay for as little as 150 US dollars a month in the middle of the city. The housing prices are super cheap. Also, if you want to buy, you can buy anywhere from 1 million South African rand to about 3 million South African rand for houses as big as this, as they look this way. And that one was a huge shocker for me, because from where I live in Sweden, don't even think about it. It's so expensive. I remember I bought my apartment for about 1.2 million Swedish krona. That's about 12,000 USD. And you can imagine here, you can buy it for like much less. And that was a small apartment, you know. But here, you can get a house like this for quarter the price. Literally, it's very, very amazing how cheap housing is. Guys, speaking of housing, another thing that, you know, kind of shocked me, caught me by surprise. Where I'm from, I have two countries, Sweden and in Kenya. And in both cultures, if you visit somebody, the moment you step into the front door, the first thing you do is that you remove your shoes and you go inside. You know, that's a culture. That's something I am brought up with. It's something I always am trained to do. So when I came to visit my friend here, Mpo, and the first time we entered, I removed my shoes, as is my nature. And he went in with his shoes, but of course I'm like, it's his house, so I can't even think about it. I removed my shoes, I went and I sat down. We had our meal, then I went to have a nap, to sleep at night. In the morning I woke up, my shoes were outside my room, and I was like, oh, maybe they just don't like shoes standing in the hallway, because normally in my country, or like in Sweden where you're from, you remove your shoes, then you put them in the hallway so that you can get them as you're on your way out. So I found them there in the next morning. Then we went to do our rounds. Then when we came back, then when we came back, I removed my shoes again. And he's like, I've realized you're removing your shoes every time we come home. And I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah, that's, isn't it normal? And he's like, no. In South Africa, we don't do that. In fact, it makes him not feel good when I remove my shoes. So it's like the opposite of what our culture does. If you go in with shoes in someone's house, they won't like it. They'll feel as if you're not, you know, really showing respect. Here is the opposite. If you remove your shoes, I don't know maybe what it means, but it is not something that is widely accepted. So that's one thing that really shocked me, that in South African houses, and it's not just him, it's like almost everyone, people do not remove their shoes when they're getting into other people's houses. That one actually got me off guard, you know. So it's something I'm really still trying to figure it out. Every time I come in the house and I have my shoes, my instinct is to remove, but then I remember I'm not supposed to remove, and I really feel like it's krenkande. How do you say that in English? Like it makes me feel like, oh my gosh, am I disrespecting the people who are like so kind to me and hosting me? But it is the culture, so it is widely acceptable here. So I think we just have to, you know, adapt to that. Again, we are still in houses. When I came here in South Africa, one thing I didn't know, I was staying in different places, in Joburg, here, everywhere. Every time I used to buy myself water to drink, until I came to realize, again when I lived here, that drinking water is actually treated and clean and safe to drink. Can you imagine? In this country, you can just go and open the tap and drink water straight from there. No need to waste money on bottled water, because even bottled water usually is not the best, you know. But this one is treated, and since then I've been drinking bottled water. No stomach problems, no issues at all. I'm refreshed, I'm quenched, I'm feeling good. My gosh, how better could that be? So that saves a lot of money. So I was really shocked to learn that clean water is available in most places that I've been, most countries that I've been, here in Africa especially. That's not a thing. You have to buy water, otherwise you and cholera will be friends, but not in SA. And that's just the same standard we have in Sweden and in Norway. You can drink the water straight from the tap. So I'm really delighted to see that we have a country in Africa which is doing the same thing for its people, you know. So that's amazing. Guys, I'm still gonna stick to the side of housing. You know, another thing I learned the other day is that the government of South Africa, if you are poor, if you are homeless, if you are jobless and a citizen of here, they actually give you free housing. Yes, my friends. In Sweden, for example, let me give you an example where I'm from. They do give you free housing, but it's like social housing. The house is not yours. If you stop living there, they take it back and they give it to somebody who needs it. Or if your situation maybe changes, you know, they can help you with that. Here in SA, if you're a poor person, you go and apply for a house and you're among the chosen few who gets it, you are actually supposed to live there forever, for the rest of your life, because they give you the house. They don't rent it to you, they don't lease it to you, they give it to you, and it is yours for life. And you can do whatever you want with it. You can even sell it if your situation becomes better to somebody else and make money from it. It's amazing, man. Which country does that? Even in the Western world, those countries that are well developed, they don't even have that. So this is like mind blowing for me to learn about here in South Africa. Of course, they don't cater for every jobless person, because then it would be way too much, but it is like one of those things that still, that even the mere fact that they think about that, it is like something very, very, you know, out of this world for me. All right, I'm still walking in this area as I tell you the things that have shocked me. And the next thing that shocked me is South Africa has free universal health care for every resident of this country. So whenever you're sick, if you're sick, you need to be admitted, you need surgery, you need medical attention, medical care, go into the hospital, man. You don't pay anything. It's catered for, is universal healthcare for everyone. Guys, even a first world country like America does not have universal healthcare. It's very expensive. You have to have insurances, you have to pay a lot of money if you don't have all these things. Here in SA, nada. And actually, even if you're not a resident from here, so long as you're here legally, like me as a tourist right now, if I was to be sick or to get into some problems, I am told I can just go to a hospital and I can be treated just like any other person, because I'm here legally. And even more so, if you are a pregnant woman, you can come here and give birth. So long as you give birth within the boundaries of this country, your child immediately becomes a citizen of South Africa, even though you're not a citizen. So can you imagine that? Like, they're really catering for everyone. And now here's the other shocking thing that will surprise you about South Africa, man. If you have a child, you get benefits for that. Things that we have only in Europe. I haven't seen that anywhere else here in Africa apart from SA. If you go, you have a child, even if you're not from here, you get pregnant somewhere, then you come, you give birth within the boundaries of this country, then immediately you start getting money, stipends for your child. Every month without fail, you'll be getting some money to help you with the bills of the children. If you have 2 children, you get double the amount, and so forth and so on. Hey, this country is really, really something else. I never knew that about South Africa, and I never knew even African countries are in a position to do those things, because those things they only happen in like Sweden, where I'm from. So that's another thing that just surprised me. The next thing that surprised me, man, is the freedom that is here in South Africa. People are free. Democracy is rich. You can criticize the government, you can be whoever you want to be, you can do whatever you want to do, so long as you're within the constricts of the law. Like, it's such a free country. They are living together in peace and harmony. It's called the Rainbow Nation because there's white people here, there's brown people here, there's black people here, and all of them are free. Nobody will like discriminate you. Of course, it's been a hard past in the past with apartheid and everything, but things have transformed and this country has become free. And that includes people of like the LGBTQ community, the queer community, you know. And speaking of that, it takes me to my next shock that actually another surprised me. South Africa is the only country in Africa that recognizes, accepts and practices same-sex marriage. Yes, you can imagine, in the entire Africa, this is the only country that will actually allow 2 people of the same gender to come and get married and get legal papers and get recognized and accepted and acknowledged as a same-sex couple. A lot of Africa is against homosexuality and same-sex couples and lesbianism, but in SA you're free to be whoever you want to be, marry whoever you want to marry, and you even get it legal, just like a man and a woman get the papers and the consent and everything. It also happens here in SA. This is the only country I have had doing that here in Africa. So it's really miles ahead of everyone else, you know. So yeah, big up South Africa for just respecting human rights and everything. And another thing that also surprised me in those terms is that this country, it actually allows possession of firearms. So if you are living in this country, so long as you go and get a license, you can walk into any store, get yourself a firearm, and have it at home with your license. That's, for me, negative, because I don't really like firearms, and I think that's why a country like the United States has so many problems, because of the right to own arms. A lot of Americans might disagree with me because they feel that they need the guns. They always say it takes an armed person to stop an armed person, but there's too many guns everywhere. And that's one thing that also is present here. There's the crime rate here, which is armed, is because there's too much guns available. But it just surprised me, because I'm not talking about the good or the bad or anything. It's just my own thoughts, that it really surprised me that here is a country where you can freely own an arm. You can just go to the store, buy it for whatever amount they're asking for, get yourself licensed, and it is yours to take home with you. So yeah, thank God I haven't seen any. I really dislike guns and firearms and everything, so that's okay. Yes, the other thing that surprised me is the way they call different things here. They have different names for different things than the ones that I'm used to. For example, traffic lights. They call traffic lights here robot. Because the other day I was driving with my friends and they were like, you know, here some people are very careless, they just pass the robots. So my brain was like, they pass the robots. I was wondering, is there like robots in the side of the road that are monitoring your speed? Because we were talking about driving fast and everything. I didn't really ask them what it meant, but my mind was a bit boggled. Then I thought, when they say robot, they probably mean like a speed camera that catches you, choop. Because they were saying like some people just drive, and if there's a robot, they drive. So later on, I kept hearing again them saying, oh, there's a robot here, oh, watch out. Then I was like, okay, so this means traffic lights, you know. So that's a term that we do not use in Kenya so much, or even in any place. My cultures, they don't recognize that term. So that's a very South African thing. So I was a bit surprised to learn about that. The other thing that they use is they call public vans, the ones like the minivans for public transport, they call them taxis, you know. So I remember when I was going to a different country from here, I was asking people, where do I get buses that go to this place? Then people were thinking of the big buses. And then I tried to tell them like minivans. Then they're like, oh no, you can take a taxi to take you there. Then I'm thinking, geez, this place is like 5 hours away. How will I take a taxi from Johannesburg to Maseru, where I was going? Then I'm like, taxi? They're like, yeah, you can just take a taxi and then you go. So now I came to find out. Then I was like, okay, how much does it cost? They were like, it costs only, it's very cheap, like 300 rand. Only for me to realize, then I was thinking, this is impossible. How can a taxi cost 300 rand? For those who don't understand what taxi for me means, taxi means like a cab, you know, like a small car like this, the ones that do Uber, Bolt, those type of cars. So I was thinking, there is no way you can go for 5 hours for only 300 rand. Yeah. So now later on, somebody showed me where they call them the taxi ranks are. Then I actually understood here in South Africa, the minivan public transport is what they call taxis. But for me, I'm so used, like even in Kenya, we say, oh, let's take a taxi. It just means we are taking a private hire, you know, to go somewhere. Another thing is soda or pop, as Americans call it. May call it soda. That one here in South Africa, they call it cold drink. So you want cold drink? And I'm like, cold drink? Yeah. So I think it's just like a juice, you know, or some water that is cold, or a smoothie or whatever. But actually when somebody tells you, do you want a cold drink, or let's get me a cold drink, they actually mean get me a soda, like Fanta or Coke or something else. So that was something that also baffled me. And the last thing was pickup trucks, what we call pickups in my country. Here they call them buggy. Yeah, so is this, you know, a car like this one, which has a trunk here that's open. We call it pickup, that's what I know it as. But in South Africa, they'll call it a buggy. So one of my friends here was like driving us around and was like, oh, I have a buggy, but we can all fit in. And my head was like, what is a buggy? So I thought it's like a type of, you know, brand that is from here. So I mean, I was really surprised. And but at least I got to understand what actually the buggy is. Yes, man. Another thing that shocked me here in South Africa is how people, when they are about to eat, most people are very religious, and the first thing they do is that they bow down for a word of prayer before you eat. Now, this experience of mine was a bit funny. I went to visit my friend here, Mpo, and he made some very good food. Ugali with something that I learned from here, which I didn't know. It's called chakalaka, one of my favorite meals in South Africa. Chakalaka, I really need to learn how to make that for myself. So he told me, I made you chakalaka. You know, he watches my videos, so he knew that I liked chakalaka. And ugali, and those are my favorite things to eat, which they call here pap also. It's a different name here. So I was there, I was so excited. I went and I washed my hands, and then he came, and then we were, you know, so now we sat down and I was ready because the ugali is there, the chakalaka is there. I'm so excited to eat this thing. And I immediately took the first bite of the ugali and I threw it in my mouth, very excited. Then I hear he says, let's pray for the food. And I'm like, oh snap. And I've already started eating. Like, I felt so embarrassed, you know. It's like I was super hungry and yearning. Another incident, I was with my other friend in Johannesburg called Pinky, and we ordered some food and we were having the food, and it was really, you know, the food was on the table. I was so excited for us to eat. Then immediately the food came, you know, we said we washed our hands, and I'll talk about that also actually. We washed our hands. After it was done washing our hands, I immediately just started eating like normal, because I don't really, you know, I'm not used to like you have to pray for the food. Then now she was like, oh, we're not praying for the food. And I was like, oh, okay, we are supposed to pray for the food. So that's when it hit me, like, in the culture here, probably people first of all give thanks for the food that they have on the table. And I think it's a good culture, it's a good tradition, but it's not too common. Some people in my country do it, but for example in Sweden nobody does that, you know. So for me, now I'm learning, if I'm eating with people, the first thing I have to do is chill a bit and see if they will start eating first. At least let them take the first bite, so I know if they're gonna pray for the food or not. Yes, man. So I talked about washing hands. In South Africa, I realized if you are going to wash your hands, maybe you're going to like a local cafe, or maybe you're going somewhere outside where there is no access to a sink. When they come to wash your hands, they will come with a bowl with water and with soap. There's a dog here. Yeah, with water and with soap, you know. And that was a bit strange for me, because let me just walk this way because the sun is so good. It was a bit strange for me because you wash your hands in the bowl. That means the germs, you're still collecting them and rewashing your hands over and over again. That was really, in different places I went, like almost 3 different places, they would give me that, and I would be like, because me, I'm so used, they pour a jug, somebody always helps you, the one who's giving you the water. They use the water in a jug. Even in my country, that's what we do, and it's usually warm water with some soap. Then they pour it for you, so you clean your hands, and then the dirty water goes into the bowl, and the clean water is still in the jug. So now at least your hands feel really clean. But for example, where we went, we even get one bowl. So the first person washes their hands in that water, they leave their germs there, then they pass the bowl to the next person, they wash their hands, they leave their germs there, they pass it to the third person, they wash their hands, they leave their germs there. And to be honest, for me, I really felt like I'm not getting clean. It's like I'm collecting germs from everyone, you know. So that was a bit weird for me. And it was not the first time that it happened. It's happened like several times. So every place that I go to eat outside, it was like that. So that's why now I was so much happy when I was eating in like closed places and restaurants, because then you go directly to the sink and you just wash your hands there. So yeah, that was a minor, you know, culture shock that I experienced in this one. Yes, and finally, let's see. What else did I think about? I think I had one more for you guys. I think it was, yeah, the cost of living. South Africa, as we know it from how I've just known it, it's supposed to be a very developed country, which it is, a very first world country and very up top. So I always thought to myself, man, this country is gonna be super expensive. Even before I traveled here, I was thinking to myself, South Africa is gonna cost me an arm and a leg, you know. But shock, surprise, it's actually very cheap here. If you're going to come to South Africa, you won't break your bank. The food is cheap, the housing of course is cheap, the accommodations are cheap, Airbnbs, you know, I haven't stayed in hotels yet, but Airbnbs, they were really cheap, you know. And it's not an expensive place. Go to the food stores. If you're doing grocery shopping, you'll get a whole bag for just a few coins, you know. So that was something that really amazed me in a way, you know. Yeah, now I'm gonna finish off the video as we go back. The last thing that actually surprised me was because corruption levels are really low. I haven't seen corruption levels here in this country, and that one has really impressed me. And to begin with, in the borders, as soon as you come in the border, you just go to the border post, you give them your passport, they check you in this, they don't even ask you complicated questions. How much money do you have, how many days, where are you going? So long as you have your right passport, they just scan it in and tell you welcome home, man. I haven't seen that. And I remember I was crossing from South Africa as I was going to Mozambique. In Mozambique, I had so much problems in the border because they were there demanding for bribes. They were asking for money. They were like, you have to give us money before you come in, or you don't have, I don't know, this and this. And I am supposed to be visa free. And I'm telling you, as soon as I left Mozambique and I came back to South Africa again, the second border, it was so nice and smooth. Nobody's pressuring you, nobody's corrupt, nobody's telling you give me a bribe. There's nobody, police in the streets harassing you and asking you for irrelevant questions, irrelevant documents. Viva South Africa. I don't know if it's like corruption free entirely, but for me, as Kish my world, I have realized that it is one of the most corrupt free countries that I have visited in Africa. Also, I've been to a place like DRC. It was very difficult to cross the border. In Uganda, it was difficult to cross the border, and I have passports that allow me to go these places scot-free, visa-free, without any questions asked. In South Africa, man, it was the best experience of my life. I don't know, guys, let me know in the comment section below. Has the country overwhelmed me too much that I'm only seeing all these things? Because honestly, I haven't seen anything that I can say has been terrible. Even when I visited the slums in Soweto, they were really crisp slums. Of course, slums is not a good place, but here they were very different. They were clean. They had public toilets for free. The streets were clean. They had litter bins. Water was free. Electricity was free. People are being taken care of. I don't know, every place I went, I haven't experienced any crime personally. I've heard stories from people here and there, but for me, I must say South Africa really is one of my favorite countries, and the people are amazing. The weather is so beautiful. Look at this, and trust me, it's winter in in 1 week. Winter starts, because as making of this video is the end of April, so in May, that's when it starts. And actually, I think this is my friend Mpo coming here, and he's driving a buggy. So you guys will get to see what a buggy is according to South Africans. For me, I would call it like a pickup or a small pickup, But guys, it's been amazing. Thanks for watching the video. Let me say hi to my friends over here as I prepare to exit South Africa. Yes, man. This is them in the buggy, as you can see. Let me say goodbye to them actually. Yeah, because it's time to go. Yes, my man. You're here.
Yeah, I'm here.
You actually found me winding up the video.
Yeah,
so the perfect moment for you to give yourself a very special shout out also and say something. How was it having Kish in your area? Just tell us something about your experience with me these few days we've been here.
hello guys, I'm sure by now you already know me. This is Mpo from Pakana Media. That's the name of my YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what, guys, I don't have words to show my appreciation to Kish. Really, yeah, there are many things that I did not know about YouTube. Many things that I was not aware of, that he has made me aware. Now I believe that from now things are going to be different with my channel.
Yes.
I urge you to go and visit and watch all my videos. I've got few videos in my channel.
Yes.
Even though I said in my video I mentioned the thing that I'm not proud. I'm a bit embarrassed. When I watch my videos. Yeah, because experience was not there yet. But I believe if you go there, I believe you will enjoy.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, I believe that from now,
yes,
my videos are going to be different.
Amazing.
You are going to enjoy them.
I hope so. Yeah. So you guys, that's he's told you from his mouth. This is the thing he's going to do. You're gonna love his videos. So just go and show love to him. Tell him thank you for hosting Kish my world in this beautiful space, this beautiful area. I'm really, delighted.
Yes,
Thank you so much for everything. And I was just telling people about the things that were shocking me in this country. And I'm just glad that you have given me the opportunity to actually experience this firsthand. Yeah, I don't take it for granted, man.
Were you able to do the house tour?
I did everything, yes. Yeah.
Wonderful.
All right.
Yeah. So
okay, so guys, this is where we were finishing today's video. As I said, please kindly go and follow Mpo on Pakana Media, sorry. Yes, and just go and see more of these things that I'm telling you, more of this beautiful country that I've shown you from his perspective in his channel. And there's also great videos he's doing. He's featured me in his channel. So go and watch. And thanks guys for watching. I'm about to leave this country. My heart is breaking right now. But all in all, I'm grateful for the time that I had. So from me and my friend Mpo here, Kish my world, Toppa the morning. See you in the next one.